Good evening. My name is Lauren Vogt, and I am a district educator in Chicago Public Schools. The technology impact is what we are going to be talking about today, and this is going to be working on meeting the individual needs of students while using technology. So basically, we have this $18 million educational technology bond that we are going to be voting on over the next couple of months. I want you to take a peek at this recording and go through a couple of stations here with me so that you can really make sure that you are fully understanding exactly what it is that is at stake here and exactly what we can do to ensure that we are getting the most with our money. So for station one, we're talking about a universal design for learning. For short, that's UDL. Now, outside of this station, you're going to see the quote, if a child knew they wouldn't fail, if your child knew they wouldn't fail, what could they do? Now, I want you to take a second to think about that, because if your child knew they wouldn't fail because they had the tools and because there was a purpose to what they were doing, wouldn't that be something that you would want to see? There are going to be iPads set up around this station. You're going to have a variety of seating options that you can choose. Maybe that's standing, maybe that's sitting in a chair, sitting on the floor, a couch, something like that. Now, let me tell you a little bit about UDL as we kind of ponder this quote here. So UDL, or Universal Design for Learning, minimizes barriers and maximizes learning for all. This is said by CAST in 2010. Now, it does this through multiple means of expression, which is the way to represent understanding, multiple means of representation, or ways to further receive information, and also multiple ways of engagement, ways to interact or find a purpose within content. So Rose and Myers called attention to the disconnect between increasingly diverse student population and the one-size-fits-all curriculum. They said that these conditions would not produce the desired academic gains expected of 21st century global citizens. We are going to get to the 21st century global citizens and that 21st century learning later, but for now, just bear in mind that basically this means that there's a disconnect between what our schools are doing with that one-size-fits-all curriculum and what we want them to do in regard to making sure that each student is an individual in the classroom and that each student is getting their needs met. This is an idea and a thinking map and a visual for design thinking process for the Universal Design for Learning. This was created by Barbara Bray and Jackie Gerstein. In the middle, you can see that we have a Universal Design for Learning. This is actually encompassing a thinking map known as our circle map here. So basically around it, you see our three things: that engagement, representation, and action and expression. Those are the three principles, the three pillars that we build Universal Design for Learning on. Around it, we see different ways that we can encompass this. This might be defining problems, generating ideas, using feedback, reflections, things of that nature. Now, all of these things are making sure that our students are getting what they need, that they are really focusing in and understanding what it means to be a learner and how they can get all their needs met. Now, with these multiple means of representation, one way that we could do this might be to show students, a book and they could read it. Or we can give them a book that they can listen to on a computer. Or they could use some kind of kinesthetic movements or some kind of video in order to represent this thinking. There are lots of different ways in which we can represent information. Through engagement, we can make sure that all of our students are getting the purpose and understanding why they are doing these particular things. Engagement is ensuring that all learners are connecting with what they are doing and the way that they are working. Lastly, action and expression. This is how learners and students are going to represent their understanding and their knowledge of a topic. This might look different for everybody, but it makes sure that these learners are, yes, definitely encompassing that goal and working towards that goal, but they're doing it in a way that makes sense for them. Lastly, with this Universal Design for Learning, we talk about our differentiation. Now, differentiation, as we know, is something that's super important. It's that key word that we hear across our classroom, our district, things of that nature. With UDL, the differentiation is built in by providing multiple means of representation, expression, and engagement throughout the lesson. This was said by Ed Byrne in 2013 in the book that he wrote regarding this. When using UDL, you can ensure that you meet the needs of all individuals through one lesson. That doesn't mean that you're creating lots of different ways of expression, lots of different ways of representation. It means that in this lesson, I'm going to be reading this book. I'm going to be showing it to the students. We're going to be interacting with it in a way to ensure that all learners' needs are met. When we're interacting today, I want you to walk around to the iPads. They're all equipped with tools that you're going to need, but you can determine how you would like to reach your goal. So here's your goal here. This is what I would like for you to do. Think about what learning style you most identify with. Think, are you an auditory learner, a visual learner, kinesthetic, maybe a mix of things? If you have the opportunity to make that choice, I want you to think about what would be good for you. Think about your goal. Think about what you need to do. Your goal is to get information about UDL, about Universal Design for Learning. And I want you to think about which way you want to achieve this. Maybe you could watch videos, you could read articles, you could listen to articles, you could watch this being done in the classroom or engage with lesson plans. At the end of this, I want your product to be demonstrating through paper, animation, a video, voice recording, or other technological means what UDL could mean for your students. At station number 2, we have our technology and UDL for all learners. Now, our mission statement of our district is that our district believes in providing education for the future. Future is our key word here. We believe in teaching with the future in mind and preparing our students for a successful future through innovative technology, career-focused programs, and a concentration on 21st century learning. So our goal in our district right now, we have 3 of them. The first is to work to link technology with the Universal Design for Learning in order to ensure that every individual's needs are being met. The next one is that our district will provide classes that are based in career and technology education, or CTE, that will provide students with both academic and vocational educational opportunities. We're working on breaking down that stigma behind that vocational education and really honing in on how beneficial this can be for our district. Lastly, our district will focus its attention on the 4 C's of 21st century learning. According to the Partnership for 21st Century Learning, a focus on creativity, 1C, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration, the other 3 C's, are essential to prepare students for the future. Now, technology and UDL for all learners. We have different courses and programs that we are considering offering. Now, the courses are listed above. The first is how can I represent this differently? Collaboration and communication, or help the world. We have some building up into the higher grades, like Introduction to Innovative Technology and what can I do for my future. Innovative technology and collaboration, creativity, communication, and critical thinking. The last 2 are using technology to solve worldly problems and the fact that you are in charge of your future. These are all things that we want to ensure that our students have a solid handle on, and we believe that these are ways that we can incorporate 21st century learning skills to better prepare our students for the future tomorrow. At station 3, we talk about 21st century skills. As I said earlier, I would get to this. 21st century learning is built on the 4 C's. It also has a couple of other means that of representation that we will talk about in a moment here. Now, again, those 4 C's are that critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. We want to make sure that we are representing these skills in all different ways. The one class I'm going to focus on here is that how can I represent this differently, a pre-K through 3 class. This is going to really involve that critical thinking and the creativity, which are 2 of those main focuses here. So skills that this course will be working on are going to have students critically think or come up with innovative and creative solutions to problems. This is not going to be workbook based. This is not going to be, problem after problem. This is going to be solving purposeful and real world problems that they can relate to and that they can use technology in order to help them solve. They will work to showcase and express their results in a variety of ways and in a multiple ways of modality here. So the ability to use critical thinking and creativity as it pertains to technology is what we need in our job market today. when we have this CTE, or this career and educational or technology education, we're really working to kind of marry the two of these things, this academic and vocational need. So when we have these 21st century skills built in here, we're really working towards giving students this opportunity to, yes, learn academics like they always have in school, but also to graduate with this idea about what they want to do, or better yet, if they are taking CTE courses, then they are graduating with some kind of certification in order to start their lives. The tools that we're going to be thinking about using in order to make sure that we are getting these 21st century skills and employability tools behind us are iPads. iPads are a technological tool that would encourage students to expand their learning to encompass 21st century skills, because iPads have so much accessibility on them. The interaction that we are going to have today is going to feature something on Skype. Now, I know you've probably heard about Skype before, something that we used prior to iPads being a thing, but with one-on-one iPads, or with iPads for a small group of students, we're really able to harness the use of Skype and talk with people around our community, our country, our world, and allow them to really work on those 21st century skills while using technology. So having students communicate and collaborate with other children in schools, or if they're doing a research project and getting to further understand exactly what they need to do by talking with an expert in the field. These are kind of breaking down those barriers. So they don't just have to go read an article anymore or watch a video anymore. They can ask pertinent questions, and they can talk to people face to face via Skype about what they would like to do here. This is just one of the many things that our iPads would have. So we're going to be talking about the interactions that you're going to be having here today. We are going to be actually Skyping in with somebody who is another speaker that is part of the CTE, or the career and technology education, and they're going to just be talking more to us about why it's beneficial. Throughout this, feel free to jump in, ask questions, interact with this. This is exactly what your students would be doing with the use of Skype on the iPads here. Before we do that, we're going to talk about why new technology. Why do we need to spend our $18 million bond on these iPads, on this new technology? We need to do this to ensure that all students are getting their needs met simultaneously. Technology is the best resource here. That's no question asked, in order to make sure that students are getting their needs met at the same time, day after day. Technology is the best tool that we have. Now, iPads specifically have that ability to provide students with opportunities to be creative, to think critically, to collaborate, to communicate, as we discussed earlier. Though they allow students to have multiple means of representation, engagement, and expression, so they're touching on all of those different modalities when it comes to our universal design for learning, and it works to ensure that they connect and see a purpose in the work that's being done there. iPads can be used from early childhood through adulthood because this tool does not have an age limit. Now, when we think about this new technology, I want you to consider the fact that these iPads have the opportunity to provide all different kinds of applications for a student to use. They can have applications that are games. They can have applications that are tools or technology to collaborate, like we said with Skype. There are so many different features and tools that we can use in order to ensure that our students are getting their needs met and that they're getting the most out of education today. So let's ask the question, do you want your child to have access to the newest and most innovative education that they can possibly have? I want you to reconsider that question. If your child knew they wouldn't fail, what could they do? With the use of technology, with the use of this iPad and iPads throughout the schools, we can make sure that our child knows that they will not fail, that they absolutely know that they will not fail, because they have so many opportunities and so many different platforms and tools that they can use to help them succeed. I hope that you consider this as you are casting your vote for where that bond money should go. Think about our future. Think about the 21st century skills that our students right now are lacking and how we can use technology in order to help develop them. Thank you so much.